So as we shift gears towards the last part of this journey, think about some of the things you've heard, kind of like cast your mind back to Winona, some of what she shared, why her wild rice growing the lake is important to her and her ancestors, as well as the future generations, why having pipeline-free wild rice is the most important thing that she would go to prison for. And then cast your mind to Ralph and his stance in Vanuatu. Going from someone who is an artist and an anthropologist into maybe what was uncomfortable for him, which is to go into politics. And think of why someone would be led onto that path. Think about Erjen and what she shared about bringing back the ceremonies, and sometimes the ceremonies in themselves will create the barriers and suddenly the project is canceled. Bringing back the music, bringing back the epic poems, that those in themselves had power to create a boundary, using Anna Jonesy's term. And then Rafiq talking about curiosity, innocence, reflection, how victimhood can paralyze us. Going with what we love, doing what we love. And then the series of questions we framed for you with the journaling, with the first council, the superiority inferiority question, the second council session, the third council session. Think about what solidarity would look like. What would solidarity look like with your colleagues, with your parents whom you might be fighting with, your grandparents, your siblings, your wider community? What would solidarity look like with the people in Tampasak? What would solidarity look like with the people working in the apa sudah tuh? Pusat Pentadbiran Negeri Sabah? What would solidarity look like with our state leaders? What would solidarity look like? We building on also the conversation on restorative spaces. And restorative spaces could be anywhere. It could be here. It could be in your your WhatsApp group. It could be in your project or at home. So we're not going to go into any breakout rooms, but we're going to stay here and just openly have this conversation on solidarity. What could it look like? What does it mean? And how would we manifest it?
For me, solidarity, I think it's important when we want to stand about solidarity. First thing that comes in my mind is we must believe in whatever that we want to stand for. Example, our work, so we must believe that our work is gonna work in a way, even it's hard or like impossible, as long as we believe. And the bare minimum belief, I mean that I believe that no efforts that are wasted. The result is second thing for me. I think, yeah, I think belief is essential for us, for me at least. Yeah, at least the bare minimum that I believe no effort will be wasted in any way. It will be benefits, at least for yourself. Thank you.
Thanks, Rizlan. Anyone else?
I think talking about solidarity in this pandemic, the work that we do involves a lot of stakeholders. So when I think about the government side, things are not really moving. When I think about the grassroots, our partners on the ground, what came up to my mind was festivals, rituals, growing food. I think that just came up, just like that lah. I mean, to brainstorm lah, like I don't really think too deep about it, but it just came up. It's like that lah. When I think about solidarity, decolonizing, like why not we don't? That's the thing about colonialism. You see where the money goes. When there's money, there's always something, something not right. Yeah, I'm just throwing this out, just throwing it. This what I'm feeling right now. Yeah, maybe we can do something like that. It doesn't really involve profit and money. Something fun, something to do with the land.
Thanks, Yana.
Okay. While waiting for others, maybe I like to share something which I discussed with my partner just now from Johan. Is it Johan? This is something that I worry about. Today, we might have this brotherhood and sisterhood of victims. We feel strongly about it because maybe we have not yet reached success. What happens if we found success and we are free and we start to develop? Do we feel we are so special that we begin to colonize our colonizers before? Because we feel we know the best way. See? That is a human weakness that we all have. If you look at the ego is hurt when it is a victim. But when the ego finds success, sometimes it doesn't know that it is misbehaving or maybe repeating. For that reason, I always believe, under the green philosophy, unity in diversity. Yes, we should work hard to find our identity, our uniqueness, and so forth. But when we have found and we'll decide to develop together on this planet Earth, we must work hard to understand what do we mean by unity in diversity. And it must be harmonious. So it cannot be just transactional way of unity, negotiating through transaction, but it must be something different. That is a worry that I always, that always keep me awake at night. Thank you very much. I hope it is relevant to our discussion. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Halim.
Hello. I don't know if you guys can hear me over my fan, but one of the questions, it was just something that I wondered about was, we've had all these mountaintop sessions of, politics and change in the circular economy to now decolonizing the psyche of colonization and everything. And we have that knowledge, but how do we have like a similar session with the communities in a project? How do we apply that?
Thanks, Tasha. I'm guessing you don't want an answer right now. There is an answer, but I think let's hear from everyone, and then maybe towards the end we can talk a little bit about that. Any others?
Hi, yeah. In one of our breakout sessions just now, Dr. Halim brought up a very interesting point, because we were talking about safe spaces, right? Restorative spaces, and like what you would need in that kind of space. And a lot of us talked about trust. A lot of us talked about like building respect and things like that, right? But an important point that Dr. Halim had brought up was like the need for consistency as well, and how when there's a gap between your work and how you conduct yourself in your personal life, there's people can feel it now, and you become, that ends up being like a point of, because this is kind of like where a big fault of mine is in terms of like commitment and in terms of consistency. That's where I always tend to fall short. And I think like consistency and authenticity is such big factors in building like solidarity with anyone and working with communities and stuff like that. Like people need to know who you are, and they need to trust that you are what you claim to be and what you project yourself as. And yeah, so I thought that was like something that was interesting sharing for me early on.
Thanks, Emily. Let me show you an image. Maybe it will help unfry your brain. This is in a way also answering Stasha's question about what are we going to do with, others and wider circles. And then it also answers I hope, the question about consistency. So for Forever Sabah Institute, you guys already know it's not something within four walls. It is about opening up, learning and knowing and sharing in all kinds of ways, non-traditional ways. And one of the things we did was to redesign our calendar. So rather than the linear box of the usual calendars, 12 months a year, 31 days a month, 52 weeks, we decided to go back to the circular rhythm of seasons and the moon, following the moon. So full moon, new moon, full moon, new moon. So this maybe looks a little strange to you, but this was our attempt to go back to a rhythmic way of life. So for us in Forever Sabah, we called it upgrading our operating system. So instead of how can you have, we work on a circular economy if we don't change our calendar to more circular. So we decided to go with the moon cycles. So the mountaintops, if you look, in January, we had the power politics change in the circular economy. that we had that in January during the full moon. And then in February, we had what we call the valley immersion. So mountaintops are always talking about big ideas, big questions, big issues, meta things. And the immersion is always connecting to the land, connecting to the waters. So in February, we did what we call a valley immersion. It's just a metaphoric thing. Valley immersion is not always a valley. But in this case, we went to where we're doing our Padi cultural revival project. So we want all of us to reconnect with the land, the communities who are doing the project, and to learn from the people running the projects. And then the next mountaintop, we had systems thinking and complexity. Actually, we switched it around because we realized that we needed to do, sorry, it's tabalik, but there you have it. The spirit and practice of facilitative leadership. We did that mountaintop, I believe, in March during the full moon. Because of COVID, we switched around the human-elephant harmony immersion to another month. And we did a mountaintop instead. So these are mountaintops we've done: systems thinking and complexity, and then partnering with nature, what was last month. And then again, we were supposed to go to the immersion in oil palm country. We were supposed to go to immersion in the coastal mangrove areas of Sabah, but because of COVID, we decided to do a mountaintop. And this is the first one that we've done online. So decolonizing the psyche and knowledge. This is also the only one that we have not synced up to the new moon or the full moon because our speakers couldn't make it. But everything else, I think we've been able to sync up with the full moon and the new moon. And we will continue to do that until the end of the year. So we will move, we're hybridizing some of this sessions. We have one more mountaintop left, which is community organizing leadership training. So what is the point? The reason all of these things are recorded and the reason all of them are edited to become course design and content, and will go onto the FSI website, is for us to be able to do them again. So we will do them again next year, and we will improve on them next year. We hope to invite more people next year. We want to translate this course design and content into BM. We want to invite more regional people. Originally, the idea was even from Sarawak, from Kalimantan, but we had to readjust because of MCO. In fact, we also invited some of our government partners, and many times they were close to coming, but because of MCO, they always withdrew. But certainly next year, that will be the intention. And for us, I think this is a place that this calendar is meant to be a restorative process in itself. Taking us out of our work, our day-to-day work, just taking 3-4 days just to be with each other, to learn from each other, to experience the landscape or the seascape of others, and to understand their issues, and then to work together on solutions. Not in a way that says, I so kasian you, I'm gonna come and, because I kasian you, I'm doing this, but it is in solidarity. It is in accompaniment. We hope that it will be, this was what we call the operating system upgrade to the 2.0 system. And we hope that next year, it'll be the 3.0 and so on. And we get better at it. But it was really to interrupt and disrupt our very busy linear pushing. And also for me as a, I would call myself an elder, certainly an elder in this context, how can I move on to my next thing, you know, for the future? And to me, I must create spaces where the generations after me can do their thing, can do what excites them, what they want to do, and can do it with the skills and the capacities they need. And so creating these spaces for me was also about legacy. You know, just speaking to it personally. It isn't that we need, I don't think it's that we need more people. I don't think we need smarter people. I don't think we need outsiders. I don't think we need people, you know, with multiple degrees or whatever. I think at least within Forever Sabah's context, want to create these spaces for people to find what they love. You know, remember what Rafiq said, what they're curious about, what they wake up, you know, they love it and that's what they want to do. So it's about shifting work from going to work for, you know, from 9 to 5 with your KPIs and your, you know, although that is real, but I think we want to shift it from that, you know, from that being everything that work is about. So yeah, so therefore, that's why you had the graphic that you did have in the flyer, which was this. It came from this calendar, you know, which is, for those of you who were in the systems thinking mountaintop, this was us making an intervention on our own system so that we will be more mindful about carving time out for ourselves to learn, to connect with each other. Okay, hopefully that kind of helped demelt your brains. And that is actually the whole idea, to shift work away from being very output driven, only output driven. And I say that, you know, also saying that outputs are important, but it's not everything. Okay, do we want to go back to what the solidarity looked like? Did that answer your question, Sasha?
Yes, I just had an epiphany, sort of. Like
You want to share it?
with the whole, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You put yourself wasn't built in a day. So yes, continuously learning, which I love. Yay, but oh my God, so much more to go. Okay, bring it on. Yes, Yana, Rome was built on colonization.
Indeed, it was. Okay, I think we're defrying our brains. So when I founded LEAP in 2004 in the US, this conversation on decolonization was very present for me. It was actually in the darkness of that conversation while I was in the US within the criminal justice system that LEAP was birthed. So it was very much the fiery beginnings of LEAP, but it's been something that I held within myself. And so to share it more, you know, in this way with my colleagues in LEAP as well as Forever Sabah is very meaningful for me, you know, to build the literacy the understanding around the topic of decolonization.
What's the name of the speaker yang was from Costa Rica hari itu, Cynthia? What's his name again? The one who said you drink a coconut, you said you fulfilled, you drink a Coca-Cola, you want another one?
Nick Faraglas.
Nick Faraglas.
Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto Rico, yeah.
Almost the same as Costa Rica, but different.
Yeah. One thing I remember really strongly from his session was the most deadly form of colonization is the colonization of the mind. And having realized that, I started to see how deep that was in our society, me included, no exceptions. We rely on money, we rely on all these systems that's being born out of colonization. And just
yes, and yeah, and I think it's important to bring in the money component. A lot of I mean, any foundation, think about all the foundations, Ford Foundation, you can name a whole bunch more where money came from, the money that they're giving away came from some kind of process of globalization and colonization. So it's important to name that, to call it out, to walk into that with your eyes open. And to create the alchemy within yourself to begin with, that you will deploy the resources in a different way. So you can change it. I believe you can change it. You can change the energy with which it is given out. But that means your organization and yourself, you have to be aware of it to be able to do that alchemy.
Definitely some positives to look at and to self-remind of. Yeah.
Okay, so last 20 minutes, solidarity, restorative spaces, curiosity, innocence, reflection, all those things that we've, juicy words to defrag and defry the brains.
Okay, hi, for me, I would say this is one of the best mountaintop session for me. I really enjoy, sort of enjoy all the questions because those are questions that really provoke my thinking about myself. It's like a soul searching kind of thing. I mean, those are questions that I would never ask myself. Yesterday when I was doing my homework after dinner, my husband said, "Why are you still there?" I said, I got homework. I got homework to do. He said, "What?" Then I was sharing with him the question. He said, "Oh my God, that's so deep." I said, "Yeah, don't disturb me." Then I start thinking, Then I was just, I mean, it was really good. It's not something that I normally will think of or ponder upon. And today the session was also equally good. I mean, that's something that I really enjoy. I will continue to ponder on a lot of what we shared and what all of you shared actually. This is one of the best lah for me lah. And I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie. Our CEO is very hard to please, so that is really good, a nice compliment. Teasing you, Winnie. Others?
Okay, thank you very much. I think coming to mountaintop is really refreshing for me. Always, yeah. It can be very, what do you call that? Some kind of create chaos in the mind. Even the heart can be shaken. But I know I still want to go to that reservoir, or to stress there, and to be able to put the things that is not resolved along the journey to a platform or to a space now visually where other people can provide a different perspective. So I'm very, very happy actually, and very also glad, Dr. Halim, that to be with your group. I was assigned to be in the group 3 times, I think, today. Same group. And so I got the wisdom from the master also, particularly. But I also like to just say a little short thoughts about the solidarity just now, because it can be spoken, what do you call, freely when we are in the struggle. No, I'm in solidarity with your struggle or things like that. But actually, it is like a support. But the people who are suffering, or in the what do you call, in the difficult times or brokenness, didn't ask for it, but it is some kind of energy that is given by a person, not in a better situation, but in a, you know, like that kind of energy that is drawn, yeah? And then so it's given, so it makes the whatever platform lighter, yeah. So I think I just want to express this, because I was like pondering. I didn't want to show my face just now when I was thinking about the solidarity, because it's like, when did I receive solidarity from people? When did I give solidarity to people, or what, in that situation? So I would say, Cynthia, for the journey that I had, you have given me solidarity in the work, whether you know it or not, by creating this space. So I want to thank you for that. And for the other people, I hope one day you will also be able to receive solidarity, pure solidarity, and also be able to give solidarity to other people in that way. So thank you very much. I'm in the mountain singing and dancing, going down to the valley again.
Thank you, Yogi. All right, I don't know if we need any more, because that's a pretty good way to end. All right, guys, I think that's a pretty good way to close. You saw Kansi Neville had to leave. There's probably something that happened. Thank you so very much, everyone, for spending the last 2 days with us in Forever Sabah Institute. Let's give a big hand to Noel and Rizlan and Kat, and Ken as well, for supporting us in this process. Can we show some love?
Only you get some too, Cynthia.
Ken says I have to get some too. I'm open to love. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Good job.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Jumpa lagi.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.